Hello!
I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and we're back to talk about the latest week of Big Brother.
Big Brother.
This better not be the last week that I get to do that impersonation.
No.
It better not
It doesn't matter if he's in the house or not.
That's true. He'll still be on the jury. He lives on in our hearts.
BB17 house guest.
Yeah.
Yes, he lives on in our hearts.
Yes.
Okay, this week
Starts with
lost
Becky.
Becky.
Becky's gone.
I'm okay with losing Becky.
Yeah.
Trainwreck Becky.
Yeah, and it was again
basic Becky.
Yeah, right. Again, it was one of those eliminations where Johnny Mac is clearly in his comp clothes and Becky's in her cocktail dress. And it's like, well, we all know what's happening right now.
If I were a producer on that show, I would make them all wear the same type of clothes. You can't have one dressed up person and ruin it. If you are just a TV watcher and not watching the live feeds, you don't know which one's going on until you see what they're wearing. The reason they kept Johnny Mac, or the reason they said they kept Johnny Mac, was so that he would go after Vanessa.
Yes, because
that was their agreement at this time.
Yeah, and he's been saying, like, Vanessa's been my target for weeks, and I want to put her up on the block. I want to get her out. And no one else really is comfortable with going after her, as we'll get to later on. But he's like, balls to the wall, I want her out of here, and I want to be the one who does it.
But I also think we should note that Vanessa, who ultimately is controlling this house, she really did want Becky out. So no matter who you look at making decisions, at the end of the day, Vanessa got out.
Exactly. Yep. Vanessa had a target, and that target got evicted again.
Look, we're just putting all this out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they play a head of household competition.
Yes.
And for some reason, I don't think anyone really knows, not even this person,
Austin wins.
Austin wins.
Which I was surprised by because he has not been good at the physical comps at all this season. And then all of a sudden, he like really busted out on this one and won it.
Maybe that's why he won. Because he had never gotten down. Like, other people were losing and he was like, hey, I'm still in it.
Yeah.
I should win just because I've never won like anything physical before.
Right.
Maybe that's really what it was.
So he won. It was down to him and James, and it was very close. But he won the HOH.
It was only because his hand was longer.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Really, it just came down to long hands.
James was shorter,
James has shorter arms.
It's just a tough life.
I really also think that it was just because Austin wanted another week in the head of household room with Liz.
Absolutely. Yeah, with his queen, as he referred to her. I want another week
with my queen. Aren't they just so cute?
I think they're so gross.
They are, that's what I mean.
I actually don't think she's gross. I think he's gross, and the two of them together is gross. Like, she told him that she's into his ponytail beard now. I'm like, what is wrong with you, girlfriend? Get it together.
She actually said, she said, I wonder if everyone on the outside is disappointed in me for not liking his ponytail beard. No, like, I wish that we could yell through the feeds and be like,
we all hate it. It's terrible.
Once you get out of the house, she's gonna be so embarrassed. When she gets out of the house, she's gonna be like, oh my god, nobody liked Austin?
Right.
Oh, shoot. Oh, never mind, I don't like you either.
Right. But it turns out, like, it's been really good for both of their games to be in this showmance. And to have Julia with them, so.
Yeah, the twins and him
are set.
They're unfortunately very set.
Yeah. So he wins the head of household, and it turns out to be a really difficult week to be HOH. And I think he should have seen that coming. But he seems a little like, oh, this is way harder than I expected it to be. Like, I don't know what to do. So he's asking everybody in the house what he should do. He
legitimately could not make a decision. He asked everyone, everyone told him what to do, and he still couldn't figure it out. He was so confused and so perplexed. And I have to say, I loved the editing on Sunday night's episode because a lot of discussion happened. A lot of people said a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But what they highlighted was how masterful Vanessa is.
It's
how
amazing.
She even sort of beat him down his submission in saying like, you know, you owe me, you lied to me. You know, she like, she shot those daggers at him and he cowered to her.
He did.
And was aware of it the whole time, saying she needs to go, but yet still chose to keep her.
Yes.
I think that makes him look worse and her look better.
Absolutely.
And I'm a fan of that editing.
Yes. And he got so mad at her because she came in and was like sort of twisting the way events had happened and whatnot.
Like pro Vanessa.
Yeah. And so he got really mad. She left the room and then he was like jumping up and down furious. But at the end of the day, she's not on the block.
What are you going to do about that?
Yeah.
Apparently nothing.
Apparently nothing. So Johnny Mac was like a guaranteed nominee in his mind.
Yeah.
Because
But honestly, let me just say that when Austin did win, I immediately was like, oh, I guess he's going to put up James and Meg.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
He made deals with everybody. We knew that. Mm-hmm. But which ones did he really believe in? We didn't really know that.
Right.
But I was completely wrong. And apparently he
went straight to James and Meg, and he was like, you guys are not going up?
Immediately. Not even a question.
Yeah.
Which actually made things harder.
Yeah.
Had he not done that, he could have pulled one from each, and I think it would have been a little less drama this week.
Absolutely.
But
in his mind, he was like, Johnny Mac is for sure going up. Mm-hmm. And then he was trying to decide between Vanessa and Steve, like, who's going to be the pawn.
I mean, I think he always knew it was going to be Steve, because I don't think he was ever brave enough to put Vanessa up.
Yeah.
And even when Vanessa, like, there was a moment when Vanessa was like, well, the pawn either has to be me or Steve. At that moment, someone needed to just say, great, Vanessa, you're going to be the pawn up against Johnny Mac, and then just run with it, steamroll it.
Yes.
Like she steamrolls.
She steamrolls everybody.
But no one jumped in on that, and that was it.
She's also so smart because she went into that room with that plan where she was like, but I can't be the pawn. You have to be the pawn, Steve, because if you're not the pawn, then you're a vote for Johnny Mac or some crazy thing.
Right.
But she just
I would
always
totally
has
be
everything
a pawn,
worked out
but
in
it's
her
just
head.
not the right time for me to do that.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What?
And then it worked. It's just like... And I don't know if it's because she's so smart and such a good game player, or if everyone else in that house is just like an idiot and like a chicken.
I think it's both. I mean, I honestly do. She is good. Like, I don't like that she's mean-spirited. I don't like that she comes from a place of negativity, but she's good, and she manipulates, and she can own a situation.
Yep.
And a lot of people are idiots.
Yeah, and they're like too scared to own situations like she does. I also just think Austin was saying when he won HOH, you know, I don't want to be the one to get Vanessa out, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I'm not sure why, because that's virtually no blood on your hands to put Vanessa up on the block, because everyone in the house wants her out of the house.
Right. The whole house would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
And
only Vanessa would be angry.
If he had waited, if he had either told her, yeah, you're just a pawn, or backdoored her, like, whatever way he went about it, and then at the end said, I found out you lied to me about these things, and that is why you're leaving. 100%, very little blood. She would have had to, at the end of the day, respected that.
Yeah.
And that would have worked.
But that's not what happened.
No, and I think it proves that he never really wanted to. I think it all comes down to him sort of being a tough guy, all talk kind of guy.
Yes.
Because he addressed the lie before ever saying he was going to put her up. He asked her about, did you know that James was going to throw that competition? Right. That whole thing that she had lied to him about. You would never ask that in confidence. You would never want to get the true story if that person was really your target.
Yeah,
if you want to still work with that person and you need to clear the air, that's when you would do that.
Yeah, which seemed like that's sort of what it was. And Vanessa did her like crying, sniffling game move again, and it worked. And she's not on the block.
Right.
And can we also talk about that nomination speech? That was the crazy, like James said,
what was your
craziest nomination speech. I just thought, like, what is he he got up and started like reciting proverbs about we're all in the quest for knowledge, and then when he like threw his top hat off at the end, I was just like, what just happened? What did he say?
Well, he said life has meaning and no meaning.
And no meaning, yeah.
And I was lied to, and I have to protect Liz. But the guys that are on the block had nothing to do with what I was lied about. But yeah, we're all victims.
Yeah, you're victims just like me. That's all I have to say.
I just have to say that he talked about that speech and how excited he was. This was his moment. And that the WWE was going to come back and see his entertainment value and come after him and give him a new contract.
No.
This was his shining moment, and he was so proud of it. And after it, the house guests were like, great speech, yeah. I didn't hear anybody outside of the house liking it.
No.
Nothing I read online was like, nice,
But
buddy.
James did say in the diary room, he was like, oh, what was that speech? Like, I really think you've been in this house for 60-something days and you have lost your mind.
I legitimately think they've all lost their mind at this point. But yeah, I was like, dude, no. And apparently Big Brother had to tell him to tone it down. So that was the toned down version.
Oh my God, they told him like a diary room? Like
no, they interrupt, you know how they interrupt over the speaker. And
while he was in the middle of the speech, they interrupted him?
They made him do a second take or however many takes, I don't know.
Oh my God.
With a toned down version.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Austin. So I have to say at this point, before we go into spoilers, I gave Austin props last week. I take all of those back. He gets no props from me.
No.
And I can't wait. At this point, I have completely shifted. I wanted Vanessa out so badly. Now I want Vanessa to just start taking them all out.
I want to see her just go to the
Austin
top
first, and then just go down the list and win it all because
they've basically had opportunities to give Vanessa out like 3 weeks in a row now. There was the week where she was legitimately on the block, and they could have voted her out, and they didn't. So now you just all have to deal with the consequences, and I want her to walk away with $500,000 because you're all too chicken to evict her.
They have done all of this to themselves, and whatever, if this is loyalty or weakness or whatever it is, Austin, this is you losing the game.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
Yes. They had the Power of Veto competition, and Vanessa was one of the players selected to play in the Power of Veto competition, and she wins it.
She wins it. So even though we know there was no chance of her being backdoored, Austin wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, definitely, she can't be backdoored.
Right.
So
then
here
she's trying to decide with Austin who to use it on, if anybody.
Okay, we should say the Power of Veto was the face morph competition, so not physical, and also it had Zingbot. So they all got insulted. Can't wait to see those.
Yeah.
But Meg was insulted, obviously, about the way she can't win a comp. And then she did horribly in the comp. And it's not even a physical one. So she left the competition very, very upset. She did not hug Vanessa afterwards and congratulate her. And that killed Vanessa.
Oh, of course, she was very upset about that.
I mean, the world revolves around Vanessa, so let's not forget that. So she was very mad at Meg for not congratulating her. And then when she found out Meg was crying, because Meg like ran into the shower crying, the poor girl.
Yeah.
And Vanessa goes into the bathroom and is like grilling her, like, why are you crying? Like, why are you upset? And Meg's like, I can't, I look stupid on TV. Like, I can't believe this is the way I'm performing. And Vanessa runs upstairs, runs to everybody. She's like, obviously, there was a plan to backdoor me. Meg is crying because I ruined the plan to backdoor me. So paranoia ensues. She goes through the entire gamut of everyone.
Every
James is against her.
Replacement nominee.
She even at one point said Meg is an actual mastermind and is controlling things in the house.
Meg.
Right? She's completely loses her mind sometimes. And then like Steve's against her and Johnny Mac's against her. Like she went through everything.
Yeah.
She talked to John and it looked like maybe she was trying to save John.
Yes, because she thought maybe like, maybe I can actually work with him down the road. Like maybe he can help me out. So she's like considering using the Power of Veto on him.
It maybe. I mean, it's hard to know if she really believes that.
She considered using it on both of them and throwing up James and throwing up Megan. Like she considered every option.
But at the end of the day, Austin was like, no, please don't change the nominations. Like, please keep it this way.
And she did.
John and Steve are still on the block. Yeah. But, so then things blew up again. She goes to tell John that I'm not using the Power of Veto on you. And
he's like, all right, well, I'm going to drop an atom bomb on this house right now.
Love it, John. Love it, John.
He's going out. If he goes out, he's going out in a blaze of glory. He told her.
Isolated and like.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose now.
How many weeks is he like almost gone?
Oh my God, he's been on the block like what, 6 times now?
Yep.
So he's like, nothing to lose. I'm going to tell Vanessa that I was in a 5-house guest alliance. And the plan was to backdoor her. And it was Austin, and it was the twins, and it was Steve, and it was me. And the 4 other people, other than Johnny Mac, are all people who were in, really tight alliances with Vanessa. So that sort of rocks her world.
Yeah.
Vanessa was in a 2-person alliance with Steve, and if she's been in Austin's Angels for how many weeks now?
She, of course, flies off the handle. She's upset. She's like yelling at everybody. But the twins and Austin both blamed it on Steve. They said Steve was the one who figured, came up with this idea, which is not really true at all.
Right.
And so, for whatever reason, she's not, or she says, this is probably all for show.
Yeah.
But she says she understands why Austin and the twins would be mad at her because she had lied to them. So she's really just mad at Steve. But she seems like she's really mad at Steve.
Well, she wants Steve out now. Steve is her target this week now, is what she's saying. Like, Liz still wants John out.
She was like calling him a two-face. And like, she's so, again, she's not an emotional player, you guys.
Right,
she's so hurt because Steve betrayed her.
So betrayed.
She didn't have anything close with John, so he didn't really betray her, so she's fine with him.
Right.
But because Steve was close to her, he's gotta go.
Yeah.
Again, she's not an emotional player.
And meanwhile, Liz is pissed at Johnny Mac for like blowing up their whole spot.
Obviously.
And she's like, all we did was put him on the block.
Why would you do this? All we did was put him on the block.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you could do in Big Brother.
Yeah, you were going to send him home. He has been your target for a week.
Yeah, so I'm loving...
Can't believe he blew up your game like that.
Yeah,
Gee.
like initially, when Johnny Mac was not a target and he was like blowing up some stuff, I was like, don't do that. But now I love it. He's on the block and he's like, all right, if you guys are going to send me home, I'm going to like ruin all of your games.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he could potentially, let's say he goes home this week.
Yeah.
Or is evicted this week. He could potentially come back in the house.
Yes.
But if not, he's still a jury member who's going to vote.
Yep.
So why not just blow it all up, go out in a blaze of glory?
Yeah.
I hate that Steve and John are both in this position because I think that they're both smart players.
Yeah, and I think they've played good games.
And they've played really like fairly honest games.
And low key, you know, like they haven't, I don't think either of them really has blood on their hands. Like, they've played pretty smart.
It's really disappointing that this season the like nastier players are the ones succeeding.
Yeah.
You know, but that's
why you got to win the HOH competitions. You know, like Johnny Mac really should have won that HOH.
No, he really should have.
He needed to.
He needed to. Honestly, at this point, who knows? Because these house guests flip back and forth so much, and it's been fairly even between Steve and John.
Yeah.
So either one of them
this week,
could go.
yeah, it really could go either way.
One of the talks that Austin has had with the twins is that they could potentially, because let's think about next week. Johnny Mac or Steve, whoever stays, has to go up on the block. Like, there's no one there to save them.
Yeah.
So one of them will go up on the block. And Austin and the twins were talking about that maybe they could convince John, if they save him this week, to promise he will not win a head of household, that he will go up on the block next to the returning juror. So that's something that maybe they could make him do. Steve would not go for that. They know that. So that's one way to keep John.
Oh my God.
At this point though, John's not going to want to do that because he has been tortured this entire game.
He's been on the block so many weeks.
If I were John, I'd say no. I'd take the risk to come back as the returning juror.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Ugh. But I think if John can stay, which I'm really crossing my fingers, he really has to win head of household next week. And if he does, then it will be a very interesting week.
Yeah, either one. I mean, I like Steve too.
Yeah.
So either one of them, whoever stays, has to win head of household. I don't know.
Please win head of household and like shake things up.
But also, I'm all for Vanessa winning head of household.
That's true.
And putting Austin up.
Yeah.
I want somebody, or maybe James will do this. I want someone to put Austin and a twin up.
Yep.
I just want that.
That's all I
drama.
want.
That's good TV.
Yes.
And I'm tired of them just being mean and
sitting
stupid.
Pretty. Right.
And
it's
not a good combo. Who do you want to be the returning juror though?
Oh yeah, tell us
they're
in
gonna
the comments.
compete.
Yep.
No, I want your answer.
Oh my.
I mean, you guys tell us too.
Right. Well, if Johnny Mac goes home this week, obviously I want him to be a returning juror.
I want Shelly.
Yeah, I think Shelly would be really interesting as well.
Yeah.
She'd be my second pick, I think. Because I think she was, up to a point, a really smart game player.
She's a smart game player. I mean, that's why they got her out, because she's a threat. But I think she could come in and pretend she was still part of Austin and Vanessa's group, but really tell James and Meg that she wants Vanessa out because she's now angry at Vanessa.
Yeah, I think that the Shelly has a chance to come back and not automatically go home again. Because I don't know. I don't think she necessarily burned bridges when she went out because she didn't really campaign.
Right.
She just sort of like,
James is the only one
who by and then was evicted.
Really didn't like her.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they could work together with Vanessa as the target.
Totally.
But then again, James and Meg, as lovely people as they are, they don't seem to get it fully. They didn't catch on at all that Vanessa was never the target. Like, they thought she was always the target this week, and that when she won the power veto, they were like, darn, not this week. Like, they didn't realize that Austin flipped.
Yeah.
I don't think that they are quite up to speed.
Yeah, Vanessa's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, so who do you guys want to come back in the house?
Yeah.
And who do you want to go this week, Steve or John? I think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Do you love Austin? Because please tell me why.
Please tell us what you think of his ponytail beard.
I mean, I would sneak in there and cut it off right now.
Cut it off.
If I could. That'd be great. Oh, not to mention, you know, he has a girlfriend. We haven't really covered that on this show. But he has a girlfriend. And if you flip back to the first week of feeds, he flat out says that he has a girlfriend that he's in love with, and he can't hook up with any of these girls. You can also search online, and because that girlfriend is currently watching this season. So I can't wait for them to get out.
Yeah, this is like Cody and Christine all over again from last season.
Yes.
Christine had a husband, and
yeah, except that Christine was like, I have a husband. It's kind of shady that Austin just all of a sudden doesn't have a girlfriend.
Forgot about his girlfriend.
He said he had a girlfriend, yeah. Not a fan of you, Austin. Not a fan.
That's it for this week.
That's it. We will see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.